We'll begin by taking a seat on the center of the ball, extending the arms straight out to the side, and engaging the abs. We're going to begin marching right and left for a count of 8. So make sure each movement, no matter what you're doing, begins by drawing the abdominals in, engaging the transverse abdominals, your deepest layer of abdominal muscle. Fingertips behind your ears, and exhale, twist. For the next 8 counts, we're going to think about contracting those obliques. So right at the waist, exhale, pinch, and your body rotates. Think mind over muscle over movement for all of these exercises. Just 8 counts here. Arms back out to the center and arm circles. So 8 in each direction. Once again, the trick here is trying not to let your body bounce as your arms are circling around. So you're using those core muscles to stabilize as those arms circle. And staying nice and tall, abs engaged, right knee up, extend out and in, working the quadricep. 8 counts on the right, 8 counts on the left. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Abs are drawing in a little tighter each time you extend that leg. Looking for a nice full extension as well as we switch to the other side. So you work every muscle, those 4 muscles through the thigh is what we're focusing on. Okay, feet down, fingertips back behind your ears, combining the 2 exercises as we march and then rotate. So make sure that you keep your back very tall, draw the abs in, contracting, rotating, shoulder towards a knee. All right, a few more repetitions here, keeping that ball as still as you possibly can. All right, we'll go ahead and stand up, moving positions here. Coming down to a kneeling position right behind the ball on your mat. Hands right on top of the ball and rolling straight out. So your goal here is to keep a nice straight line from your head all the way to the knees. Abs are tight, glutes are tight. Allow that movement to happen in your shoulders. They're stabilized, but you're extending those arms forward. If this is too much, then just bend those arms as you roll out. So you end up on your forearms instead of with those arms straight. Nice strong core, breathing. And go ahead and sit back, nice deep stretch in your child's pose. Enjoy the stretch. All right, coming up nice and easy. Next, I'm gonna have you lay right on top of the ball, right in the center. You're gonna find those feet up off the ground and we'll work on our balance. So nothing crazy here, but it is not that easy. So you'll see me kind of experimenting with weight placement. You want to find yourself right in the center. Try lifting those legs up the whole time. Engage the glutes. Lifting those arms up as you're able. Even if you just want to start by lifting a few fingertips off the ground. And then as you increase your balance, you'll be able to lift all the fingers up and the arms up. Keep trying, breathing. And when you feel like you've had enough, go ahead and roll back. Rest in that child's pose again. Feel free to stretch side to side and keep that back feeling good. All right, next exercise. This time we're going to keep the toes on the floor. Extending that right arm and left leg. We'll do a count of 10, so 5 on each side. Exhaling up, inhaling down. And even though those abdominals are smushed into the ball, every time you exhale, I want you to think about pulling the abs in towards the spine still. Exhale, lifting. Again, a lot easier than it looks. We're gonna hold here just for a few deep breaths. Dropping down, go ahead and hold the other side. A couple deep breaths, lengthening across the room. And drop it down. Good, rest over the ball, roll on back. This time, we're going to walk around and have a seat back on top of the ball and extend the legs forward. So see if you can straighten those legs. Then you'll hinge forward, making a 90-degree angle with your body. Extending the arms, we're gonna inhale, round forward, and then stack the vertebrae one at a time. Inhale, push into those abs, round forward. So think of a belt around your waist, pulling you back as you're reaching forward. What you wanna feel here is stretching in the back, maybe the legs as well, and then work along the vertebrae as you stack the vertebrae one at a time. So here I am back at the 90-degree angle. That is more challenging. It's harder than it looks. If this is too much for your back, then I want you to roll sitting up nice and tall, straight on top of the ball. Do what works for you. All right, little stretch here, gentle twist, nice deep breath. Expanding the rib cage. Make sure you do both sides anytime you do a twist. Excellent. All right, we'll scoot the ball back just a little bit on your mat. They're gonna roll out into a crunch position. So your upper hips, lower back are in contact with the ball. Shoulder blades start off the ball. We're gonna do 15 crunches here. Your goal, besides making those abdominals nice and tired, is to draw the belly button towards the spine and keep the hips, legs, ball very stable. So you want to think about contracting those abs to lift only the upper body. Your head, as always, is rested in your hands, no straining on the neck. Holding here, tighten those abs more, reach those arms a little higher, and 15 pulses. So try to look for that burn. Hips are stable, ball is stable, we're not bouncing, lots of control. The more stable you can be, the more muscles you are utilizing. All right, good squeeze there. All right, rolling out this time, resting your head and shoulders on the ball. We're gonna hang out here in a bridge position. So just take a moment, tuck the tailbone under a little bit. Think of lengthening the lower back. Think of creating space between the vertebrae. As you're holding glutes nice and tight, we'll go ahead and do a nice stretch for the chest if that works for you. Opening those fingertips towards the floor. You should feel a stretch all the way across the chest, shoulders, biceps, and down into the hands and forearms. Keep squeezing those glutes. Abs are drawing in. All right, from here, we're going to inch those feet closer and go into calf raises. So it's just a very subtle, controlled movement. I want you to think about working those calves and ankles both on the way up and on the way down of the movement. So about 15 repetitions, good here. Still working on stabilizing your body as you're resting your head, neck, and shoulders on the ball. All right, walk it back up, sitting up nice and tall and right on top of the ball. Nice stretch forward. Lengthen your back as you reach over those legs, rounding as you need to. And just hold this stretch, enjoy it, rest. You want to keep your body feeling good so you can keep going. All right, nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time, all the way to the top. All right, next we will walk around and begin again by kneeling on the mat. We're going to place the forearms right on top of the ball. I like to kind of angle my arms a little bit towards me. So you want most of the weight through the entire length of the forearm, lifting into a plank. So chest muscles are engaged, shoulders. If you have a mirror, use it, check your alignment all the time so that you're fully aware of what your body's doing. If this becomes too much, modification coming up here, just dropping to the knees and hold. So you want to find that balance of challenge, but where you're able to keep good form. And then after you've had a break, if you want to lift those knees back up again, go for it. Feel free to stay there if you need to. All right, resting back into child's pose. Enjoy that rest before we move on. This time we're just going to scoot to the side of the mat, basically rolling into a side plank position. So it's supported by the ball. We have 20 repetitions, side abductor raise. Abs are pulled in. The hand can be on the ball or on your hip. If you need a little more help with balance, keep that hand on the ball. Bridging the fingers on the floor to keep you stabilized, eyes on one focal point. Think of reaching that leg as you're lifting, working that outer thigh, outer glute, and then we'll come back to the knees. Little stretch. I want you to push that hip out and stretch all the way over. Try to keep the hips and shoulders nice and square. All right, let's go ahead, walk right over to the other side. We'll do the same thing. Everything's square, lean into the ball, roll yourself up into a side plank. Find your balance. Most of the weight should be on the ball. And we have 20 reps once again. Think of lengthening that leg as you're lifting. Hand on the ball, hand on the hip. Make sure you're breathing, focal point. Lengthening that leg as you lift. Back to the knees, pressing that hip out and gentle stretch, just enough to feel it. Okay, moving on. Next exercise, we will head over to the same exact starting position, right into our side plank. Find your balance. This time we're going to lift up, leg is parallel, draw the knee in and straight out. Side kick. Similar muscles working here through that outer glute and hip. Think about stabilizing your hips, lower back. Nice and strong, pressing through that heel. If it's too much, you can extend that leg lower. Or if you're still working on your balance, maybe you just want to practice holding in the side plank without any leg lifts or kicks. All right, same stretch. Press that hip out gently. Keep those knees apart. Okay, go ahead and head over to the other side. One more set here in our side plank. Rolling all the way up, hips and shoulders are square. Focal point, abs in. Flex that foot, knee in and out. Nice and strong. So as you extend that leg, full extension, careful not to hyperextend, but just enough to feel that quad engage as you straighten the leg. Hip is working, back is stabilizing. Abdominals always engaged. So as you're in this angled position, it's important too to be aware of your alignment through your spine all the way through the neck, making sure that your neck is extended at the same angle as your back. All right, go ahead and give that hip a little stretch, lengthening, no pinching, just a nice stretch. All right, go ahead and stand up, walk around that ball, and we'll start back onto our knees. This time, we're going to go ahead and lay right on top of the ball, fingertips down and legs are up. But make sure that most of your weight is on the ball. Fingertips are nice and light, dancing on the floor for double leg lift. As you engage those glutes, you're going to think of drawing those abs in, keeping those legs nice and straight and as level as possible. Shoulders down, long necks. We're going to keep the eyes down. Here's another angle. Feet are glued together. Don't worry about your range of motion. Just make sure that your body is as stable as possible as you're lifting and lowering those legs. All right, this I'm going to stretch by coming up to our feet. Nice long back, hands on the ball. Stretching the hamstrings as well. Excellent. Okay, you get to take a seat. This time we're going to take the ball in the hands, rolling down, extending the ball over the head and roll it up. Your basic roll up using the ball, so it's just that little extra weight, adding the challenge, as well as increasing the range of motion here. Make sure the ball is the one leading as you roll up and then reach into the sky. As you roll down, make sure you keep the ball forwards, rounding the vertebrae down one at a time. Use your breathing. Those abs want to pooch out whenever you contract them. Engage those deep transverse abdominals. Pull them in as you contract. Reach up nice and tall, lengthening, strengthening the back as well. Nice. All right, let's stretch again. Stretch and work. Keeping everything feeling good. Lengthening the spine as you stretch forward. Stretch those hamstrings. All right, go ahead and lay on your back. We're going to place the heels on the ball, forming a 90-degree angle with your legs, hands behind your head, and crunch. Exhaling up, inhale, halfway down. The challenge here is to keep the neck rested in your hands, and also your thighs and hip flexors relaxed as you're working those abdominals. So your legs as stable as possible. The ball is very still, and we hold here and little crunches. Go ahead and create a little burn. Try to do 10, 15, whatever you got in you. Looking for the burn, stabilizing the legs first, and relax here. Nice stretch. All right, go ahead and roll the ball out. Legs are straight now. Quads are tight, feet are flexed. Engage the abs, roll the hips right off the floor. Into our reverse plank. Your neck muscles are relaxed, your shoulders are back. Hands up off the ground if you would like to. You can keep those elbows down, challenge yourself, see if you can balance. Raise those arms if you'd like to. If you feel like you're gonna lose your balance, I would recommend dropping The hips, the arms might not say be quick enough. All right, rounding those arms down and then little lifts here. Engage those abs, glute lifts, nice straight legs. Exhaling up, inhale down. Careful not to arch the back as you lift your hips. You are working your lower back, abdominals, glutes, hamstrings, quads. All sorts of muscles at the same time. All right, rounding down, knees to the chest. Relax that lower back, maybe roll back and forth a few times. Give yourself a little bit of a break. All right, next we're gonna take the ball between our ankles, extending the ball straight up to the ceiling. Arms can be extended out to the side to help stabilize, and we go to pendulum. So we exhale as we drop the legs and the ball to the side, and you don't have to go very far here. Our breathing is inhale to the center, exhale to the side. Inhale center, exhale to the side. And remember, when you exhale, you're using your abdominals to push the lungs down. You're pushing the air out of the lungs, so the abdominals also lower. Exhale, inhale, exhale to the side, feeling the waist once again. Just enough to feel the abs, not the back. All right, angling those legs. Here's an added challenge. Feel free to rest if you need to. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Strong core, lengthening those legs, engaging the inner thighs to hold that ball. Nice work. All right, go ahead and rest those legs right on top of the ball. Nice deep breath. All right, next, go ahead and scoot those feet a little bit closer on the ball, rounding your hips up into a bridge position, hamstring curls out and curling in. Inhale as you roll out, exhale as you curl in. Your goal is to keep the back and the hips real stable, as high as you can. All right, last few repetitions here, keeping the body very still as that ball goes out and in, working those hamstrings, neck and shoulders relaxed. Those hamstrings should be talking to you. Exhale, round it all the way down, and you can rest. Nice work. All right, from here, ball back between your ankles, double leg raise. We're gonna exhale down, inhale up. My head and shoulders are lifted here just to help stabilize the upper body, stabilize your lower back. You don't want that lower back arching off the ground as the legs go through this movement. So nice strong exhale, press the abs down strong, lowering those legs. Inhale on the way up, reaching the legs away from you, engaging the inner thighs as you lower and lift. Resting if you need to. It's not worth it if the form is failing. Nice work. Go ahead and stretch arms and legs all the way out across the room. Nice deep breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and exhale, roll it all the way up, reach those arms nice tall back, and let's stretch forward. I want you to hold this stretch a little bit longer. Enjoy it. Take those nice deep breaths, expanding the rib cage. Full inhale, and longer exhales as always. All right, slowly roll it all the way up. Back up to our feet for a moment. You're going to position yourself way back behind your mat, squatting down, and we're going to do our double knee pull. So go ahead and roll out as far as you possibly can, nice and strong, and we contract those abs, draw the knees in and out. See what you can do here. Maybe it's just a couple reps, maybe it's 10, 15, 20, go for it. Again, shoulders stay nice and still over the wrists. Contract those abs, tucking those knees in. Good tight squeeze in those abdominals. Excellent. Walk it back. Try to stay on that ball and rest. Go ahead and stretch out those wrists for a minute too. All right, next. Kneeling behind the ball, we'll go ahead and roll out, keeping those toes dug into the floor, hands beside us for our back extension. Exhale, lifting up. We're using those hands both to help us stay on the ball and also to support the back. When you're working those back muscles, you never want to feel strain along the spine. Think of strengthening, never straining. Also keep in mind that nice continuous line all the way up through the neck. No hard angles there. Exhale as you come up, nice little stretch here. And then rest and roll all the way back up, stretching the back, shoulders. You can roll that ball side to side, stretching down the hip as well. All right, roll it all the way up here. And we'll go ahead and take a seat, this time laying on your side. The ball will go back in between the ankles, laying in a nice straight line. All right, abs pulled in. Go ahead and elevate the lower leg off the ground, working those obliques, double leg lift. So here we're gonna go for 20 repetitions if you can. Remember, you can always take a rest if you're feeling something that you shouldn't. But keep those abs pulled in, legs nice and long. You'll also be feeling that inner thigh in addition to your external oblique there along the waist. Subtle movements, let the muscle do the work for you. All right, holding, stretching those legs for a moment. And then you can go ahead and rest. We're gonna flip things around. We'll do the same exact thing on the other side, of course. Even it all out. So again, ball between your ankles, laying in that straight line. Hand can be on the floor or on the hip for added challenge. Abs pull in first, lower leg lifts, and then when you're ready, you can begin those 20 repetitions. Lengthening, very subtle. Hips and shoulders should be square. Keep your breathing. Again, we're working that outer waist, obliques, belly is always pulling in, and then also a little bit of outer hip, inner thigh work as you're holding that ball. Holding, stretching those legs nice and long away from you. And go ahead and rest it down, and up we go. All right, finishing off with our last set, push-ups. Squatting behind the ball, roll back out again, nice and strong, and drop it straight down and up. Try to keep that straight line, top of your head to the toes, like a seesaw, chest down between the hands, nose in front of your hands. Feel free to do more, feel free to do less. Nice, roll it back, and it is time for some stretching. We'll start kneeling, leaning those hips forward into a nice low lunge, body up nice and tall, abs still slightly engaged, supporting the back. Slowing the breathing down. Let's go ahead and shift back. We'll get the hamstring, keeping those hips square. You can point and or flex that front foot. All right, go ahead and switch sides. So I'm using the ball here just for some support. You can do that if you like. Leaning into those hip flexors, nice tall back. And we'll shift the hips back, get the hamstring, back of the leg, lengthening your spine as best you can, pointing or flexing your foot. It'll provide different stretches. And that is it. By now, you should feel like you've had both a great workout and a great stretch. See you next time.